Good morning, guys. Gladiator Trader here. I've been away for quite some time, obviously. Haven't posted a video, haven't really been trading at all. I recently graduated, so took some time off, moved out, got a new job, and all that shenanigans. And the trading part just kept getting delayed. Something kept coming up. I wanted to trade back in September, but just didn't get around to it. And coming into October, I was like, you know what, this is it. I gotta get back into it. I can't take too much time off. And even during the summer, I was watching the markets here and there, but nothing really, substantial as in terms of adding knowledge or adding value to my trading career. So now that I'm back, I decided to not go live right away. I wanted to practice on a paper trading account, so I downloaded or I bought the subscription to Fantasy Stock Trader. It lets you trade on the live market, and we'll do a quick review of that here as well. I still have my Questrade account. It's not funded right now. I can't really trade on it. I don't have the access to level 2s or anything like that. It's just basically there. I still kind of use it to chart, I will be using it to chart going forward, especially at the end of the night, because I do get the charts and everything. It just delayed by 15 minutes. So when the markets are closed and, everything's calmed down, and when I go over at nighttime to plan for the next day, I could use this, because I still like Questrade, I still like their charts, and I still like it gives me more tools than the paper trading platform. Just because paper trading platform, it doesn't have as much flexibility when it comes to what you can do. It doesn't have post market, doesn't have pre market, and stuff like that. So back to my thing here. The reason I was away, things kept getting delayed, and I wanted to get back into it. Starting October, just on Monday, I was like, you know what, this is it. If I need to do it, I need to do it right now. So I downloaded the software, bought the subscription for 3 months, and that's what I'll be doing over the next 3 months. So all my trades that you'll see on Twitter and anything like that will just be paper trades. It'll help me develop my strategy, but at the same time, it'll kind of help me get back into the markets. And if I can do it consistently for over 3 months, paper trade, and by the time I get into middle of this month, I'm gonna be a lot, better, because right now I'm a bit rough. I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of keep jumping back and forth. But once I kind of get used to it and kind of get back into the market grind, I'll be up to speed, and we'll go from there. So quickly today, we'll go over my accounts here, and I'll show you what today looked like. So this is my account summary from my paper trading account, and as you guys can see, I had 4 trades in total, 2 on MTBC. It was a momentum stock this morning right out of the market. I got in and I was up, and then I decided to kind of chase a bit. And those are the things that I need to work on in my psychological part, that I need to understand when to jump in, when to not. And so when I go live, I'm not making these mistakes. So I'm just gonna tune them out. I'm just gonna basically pretend this is my actual account, and that's why you can see the money or the realized gains are very low, because if you look at on the right side of the account summary here at the bottom, you'll see I'm only buying 200 shares. In DYSL, I got in with 500 shares just because it was a smaller price stock, plus I was just looking for a scalp on that. So that's another thing I'm working on, is to kind of figure out which stocks I need to scalp and which stock I need to scale in or wait for a bigger move. So that's another thing I'm going to focus on moving forward. If I'm going into scalp, I can go into bigger shares, because I'm only looking for 10-cent max. And if I am not looking to scalp, and if I want to go in with smaller size, then I'm looking to go in for giving a bit more of a room for the stock to kind of work out the way the market needs to work out, basically. So looking at here today, I'm up 17. Yesterday I was up 46. So both of coming back after so long, having 2 green days is nice. On Monday, when I first got the software, I did have a red day. I started the account with $25,000 basically balance, just because it's virtual currency, so it gives you $100,000 buying power. And as you can see, I'm down about 100. And the reason for that is I started on Monday and I wanted to test try it, basically try the product, see how it works. So I bought, I think it was, can't remember, ECYT I think it was, and I bought 2 what was it, two, no, not ACYT, sorry, HMNY or something like that. Can't remember. I bought like just randomly, I picked a stock that was kind of moving, and I place an order. But the thing was, on my open orders or in my positions, it just wouldn't show up. So I thought it didn't go through, so I kept buying, and then I logged off and logged back on, and I realized I had like 3-4 position opened of this stock, and it was big share, and I'm down a bit. So as soon as I realized that, I quickly sold. And even when I sold, it didn't show me that my position got updated, so I had to log off and log back in. So that was kind of giving me a little issue there. But yesterday and today, the software has been great. Every time I place an order, it shows up in open orders, and once it gets filled, it goes into my position, so which is nice to see. The software here, I'll show you guys what the software actually looks like. So this is it, Fantasy Stock Trader Pro. As you can see, I can't really draw much on it. I can't really do much. I can only go back so much in charts. Like, I can't look at past 6 months history. So there's some limitation on this, but it's really good when the markets are open. When the markets are open, if I'm only looking at 1-2 stock, I can really manage well on it, so which is nice. Now, going back on over my trades today, so let's go into Quest Trade, and I'll pull go into Quest Trade, and I'll pull my account summary here. So going over my trades today, let's start with DYSL, which was actually, let's start with MTBC, which was the first trade of the day. So I'll pull up 1 minute just because I was trading off the 1 minute chart as the market opened. So as you can see, right now this is 15 minutes or so behind right here. It's in the 10:25, 26, and right now it's 10:44. So it's about 15-minute difference. And by 10 I mean that's market time. So my time here is 8:30 or 8:44, right? So I'm in Western Canada, so it's a little bit different. But right over here, the market was opening. MTBC was making move. It kind of had a really close, strong close. Just kind of came out of nowhere. Was kind of going sideways all day yesterday, and then just kind of had a super strong close. So some people obviously bought overnight. I usually just trade the first first hour of the day, just because of my job right now. But as if my trading career takes off, more like when it takes off, I would be looking to kind of spending more time on this. In the long run, I would love to be a full-time day trader. So looking at this, it started moving up, and again, I wasn't around the markets at that time, so I never even saw it. It would have been a good overnight position just because it started moving up just before like the last 30 minutes of the market yesterday, and people bought overnight, and in the pre-market just around here, it was still hanging on. Now as the pre-market was happening, it's kind of started downtrending, but then it started coming back up. So it was nice to see for it to come back up, because I was kind of watching it. Another one I was watching was RGSC, but we'll talk about it in a second here. So MTBC, started popping up, and as the market opened, it pulled back and it started coming back up. So what I was looking for the break of high of day. So I was looking at, I believe 415 was the pre-market high. 415 was the pre-market high, so that's what I was looking for. I was looking for it to break that, I believe, right? Yeah, it's like 414. 414 is here, so that's what I was looking for the break of that. And I jumped in at this. Let me see when I jumped in exactly. 415. That's exactly when I jumped in here, and I think that's when it was coming up on this candle. So I did jump in on the very first candle, which again, that's something I need to kind of tweak out. I don't know if this is a strategy I like, just because jumping in on the first candle, you're taking a lot of risk because you don't know when the market opened, what it's going to look like. I jumped in because a lot of volume was coming in, and it was going to break this pre-market high. So I was like, you know what, this is a good place. The stock has momentum. People are talking about it. I believe there was a catalyst out as well. I know for sure there was a catalyst out, and so I jumped in, and I wanted to basically look for the move above the. It was moving pretty fast, so I was looking for a move above above the 450 mark, sorry. And the thing with this one was, when I placed my order at 415, I didn't get filled, and it instantly jumped to like 430, 435, something like that. 435, yeah, the high was 435 on this. and it jumped up. When it came back down, that's when I got filled, and I kind of got scared because I was like, oh, maybe I may, because I've done that in the past, where I would jump in on the very first candle as it starts moving up, and then it would just have that one big pop, and then it'll just start dropping. So that's exactly what happened with this. Although since I jumped in with smaller shares, I decided to kind of hold it. I was like, you know what, this does have momentum. It does that where, you know, it pops over, pulls back, and then it starts running. So I'm gonna hold my position. If it goes below, if it basically starts breaking down these marks right here, the pre-market support in the 370s, I'll look to bail out. Now again, that was, you know, quite a bit risk, but I was taking it with 200 shares, so I was okay to hold it just because I wanted to give it some room. I wanted to see what better would have been is to wait for this pullback. Now looking, obviously hindsight makes more sense. Wait for this pullback, wait for it to confirm this level, kind of like what I did yesterday on one of my trades, ECYT. I did the exact same thing. When it pulled back, I waited for that pre-market break to hold, or support to hold, and then I jumped in. So if I would have done that, you know, I could have had a better entry, I could have had a better risk reward ratio. But jumping in up here, I just figure, you know what, a lot of volumes coming in, the stock looks strong, catalyst is out, breaking the pre-market high, we could see a morning spike. Although we did get a morning spike, I just kind of jumped in a bit high. So going forward, maybe jumping on the first candle, even if it breaks the high of day or the pre-market high, whatever the case is, maybe it's better to just wait for a pullback. Let's see if that break holds and then jump in, right? I mean, if I'm gonna miss a play, I'm gonna miss a play, but taking a risk to see what the market's gonna do is not a fun spot to be in. And although it's fake money, guys, when I jumped in and I started seeing going against me, I was kind of like, whoa. But I waited for that hold to for that pre-market. I was like, you know what, now that I did make a mistake, I don't want to add to my mistake by just bailing out. Let me see if that holds it. If it does, we'll look to move forward. So it did hold it. It started coming back up, and you know, got over this 430 mark again, and I ended up bailing out at 442. 442 is when I bailed out. When it popped up here in the 460s, I did try selling, but I just didn't get filled. So when it started coming back in here, I bailed out at 442 because I figured, well, it already popped up, it might have a pullback, let me sell here, and then if it's, you know, forms up again, I'll look to get in again. What ended up happening is that I got out at 442, it popped right back up and goes all the way up to 499. So obviously a big you know, move from the 415s up to the 499. So it could have been quite a good trade, but I bailed out a bit early, which is fine. I still took you know, part of that move. Although I got in a bit higher, if I would have gotten lower, if I would have gotten somewhere here, maybe it could have been a better play. So, you know, moving forward, that's something I need to work on, and, you know, be better at it. Again, when it got up here, I decided, I was like, you know what, this is definitely showing strength. Since I missed this move, let me jump in at the break of 5, and that was my second mistake on this play, or the second mistake on this play was I tried jumping in at 5 again, and I got in at what was my fill here, at exactly at 5. I got filled as it was basically coming up, and I was like, if it breaks 5, we might see that push, and then I'll look to sell in, you know, 510, 520, because this stock's moving, you know, in increments like that. It'll just basically pop up quickly and then it'll pull back. So I got in and it didn't break 5 and it started pulling back, so I bailed out. I was like, you know what, it definitely needed that correction, it definitely needed a pullback. You know, it just came from 380s all the way up to 5. It does need a pullback, so I shouldn't have jumped in. And that, you know, although I'm paper trading, my psychology is still there. I'm still kind of like, whoa, can I jump in on this trade? And that's something I need to work on moving forward, again, because I can't do that in live trade. I need to be more patient. I need to wait for the right setups. And the reason I'm paper trading is so I can work on those setups, not just jump in random places. So obviously that was my bad. Pulls back and I stopped watching it. I was kind of waiting. Maybe we'll see. Maybe the first candle to make a new high could be a good strategy. That's something I love to do, but I kind of looked away from it because a couple other things started popping up. And again, a lot of nooks and crannies that are coming out on this video, just because these are the mistakes I make, and I know a lot of traders, a lot of beginner traders make the same mistake. So that's why I'm talking about it. I stopped looking at it. Although this was a good play, had momentum, it could have given me what I was looking for, I just stopped looking at it to move to the next thing. But and again, right now I'm just working with one monitor, so it does kind of make it hard for me to to keep 2 or 3 charts up, because if I had this chart up on a different monitor, maybe I could have caught it as it kind of did this pullback and it started coming back up. I would have looked for that first candle to make a new high and I would have jumped in. But I was watching something else, and I think I was watching DYSL, which we'll talk about in just a second here. So this popped up, and the first candle to make a new high was great. Clears all the way over 5, goes up to the 540s, and then pulls back, and then basically the now is just kind of trending down. So that was my MTBC trade. Let's go to DYSL. DYSL is right there. So now DYSL was a pretty tricky trade as well for me, just because I kind of got in a bit high, and that's where I had that loss, my big loss for the day, just because. So when I first saw it, it was right here in the 160s. Now the thing was with my fantasy stock trader, every time I try to pull up DYSL, it wouldn't pull up properly. It would just kind of get jammed, and I would have to log off and log back in. Now that's a technical issue. There's nothing I can do about it. But I was watching it in the 150s when it made these first few. Sorry, let me pull up Questrade. I just like the charts better on it. So when it first basically spiked up, I pulled it up. I was like, you know what, this does look good. There's some volume coming in. A lot of the small caps are starting to move. So I was like, this does look good. Let me see what happens here. But my software kept giving me trouble, so I kept logging in and off again. And when I finally kind of got the charts to look how it should look, so I can trade it was basically up here. And I was like, well, it is moving. So if that wouldn't have happened, and if I was watching this basically as it was forming, I would have loved this 1 minute pullback here. This was a great entry point. Got in just below, just above, sorry, this 150 mark. Have my risk in that 140s, and I would have basically rode this momentum. But things happen, and that's fine. So I got in on when this candle made a new high. I believe it was let me see where exactly I got in. DYSL, I got filled at 197, and it was around 755, so 955. So just on this candle right here, that's when I jumped in. As basically this candle popped up, I jumped in at 197, and I was waiting for that break of 2. Sorry, I did get that break of 2. However, it wasn't a good break. I was looking basically, if it breaks 2, I want to see it go up to 210 right away and then start pushing up, because there was not much resistance on this chart here. So as you can see here on the daily, once it broke 2, resistance back there was 2. Right over here there was some resistance at 2, and then the next some resistance would have been in the 215s area, right? After that there wasn't much resistance until 288. So there was a clean chart up ahead, right? But it just didn't work out that way, because when it broke 2, it didn't push. So I was like, you know what, this is not working out, and I tried bailing. If you look here, I tried bailing at a couple places. So first I tried getting out at 207. It didn't even get up there. I just saw it on the ask, and I basically placed my order on the ask thinking it would get filled. Didn't. Then I tried getting out 199, didn't get filled. It was just being a little choppy, and every time I would see it hit 199, my order just wouldn't get filled, although there were some prints going through at 199. And then I tried getting out break even around 197, didn't get filled, and so I ended up bailing out at 188. I just placed my order on the bid and I bailed out, just because I kind of realized, hey, you know what, if it got over 2 and it didn't really hold, and now people are just, it's down ticking every print basically was just starting to down tick, and I was like, you know what, it's just time to bail out. So I bailed out, which was a good decision, because as you can tell, it's back in the 150s now. So definitely a good decision on my end there. Although I had a loss, I kind of protected myself there. Now the last trade I had was CLSN, so I'll pull that up here. Now, CLSN, yesterday had a morning spike. People kind of got in. It was a good trade yesterday, kind of uptrended all day. even pre-market, even post-market, sorry, it uptrended, and then pre-market it kind of looked weak. So it wasn't on my watch. I'm just I was in the chat actually on Twitter. Somebody mentioned CLSN coming back, so I was like, well, let's pull it up, because it did have offering, and people who kind of sold, or shorts, they were short selling in the sevens, pre-market, most likely would start to cover. So let's see what happens here. So basically on this trade, I got it on the break of what was it, 457, and so yeah, right here, break of this 459, that's when I got in. So I'll pull it close here. So as this was basically starting to curl back up, I got in on the break of this 459. I filled at 457, which is nice, and then we got this little spike here. So basically either these are shorts covering, or just new people, or some more people buying in. Whichever it was, I waited for this break of this. When I first pulled it up, it was just in this area, so I was kind of watching it. I was like, well, if it gets close to 459 and looks like it's gonna break the high of day, we might get some momentum in this stock. And because people were talking about it in the chat rooms, people were talking about it on Twitter, so I was like, okay, let's see what happens. And as it broke 459, volume was coming in, so I jumped in just before the break of 459, and then we popped over up to the up to the 490s, actually 494. I ended up selling out at 472. So I got in at 457 right about here, and I ended up selling in the 472s on this candle. So I didn't hold for long, just because although it was looking good, I was just like, you know what, it was showing a lot of weakness, and I mean, any pop that happens, people are just going to be looking to short sell, or looking to add to their short, or whatever the reason was. So I didn't hold for long. I just kind of got in, took about 15 cents or whatever it was, and then got out. So that was pretty much my day today, guys. Yesterday, I had good trade as well on ECYT. It was a really good trade. That was a lot better. Today I was kind of a bit all over the place, just because there's so much happening, and I was kind of trying to catch everything, and that's something I do need to work on. I need to kind of have a plan, and although since I'm a beginner trader, I don't have all the tools that I need right now. I don't have 2 monitors. I don't have a scanner that basically gives me up to dates right away, and so there are some things I'm missing right now in my trading career, but so I need to kind of take it one step at a time, and just need to stop pretending that I'm a big time trader. I just need to realize, hey, I'm just a new trader. I need to just look at 1 stock or 2 stock max a day, and it doesn't matter all the noise that's happening. I just need to watch those stocks if they are momentum stocks. In pre-market, if there's a catalyst out, volume starting to come in, pre-market looks good, I just need to watch it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't need to jump around, and that's what kind of happened today, because if I stuck with MTBC, my first trade on the 5-minute setup, I would have made more money than what I ended up making today, and I would have saved more on my fees, meaning my trade fees, and just stuff like that. My execution fees would have been lower, and I would have probably been sitting at a higher profit today. But that's fine, because I'm not really caring about the profit right now, just because it's a trade, it's a practice account, it doesn't really affect me. But I need to start, I think of it as in, this is me trading live, and this is how I would trade if I was trading live. So I need to work on those and kind of clean out my trading, make it more simple, make it more precise, and cancel out all the noise. I still get, as a new trader, I still kind of get caught up on the noise, but I need to cancel that out, and I need to focus. So thanks for watching, guys. Please leave me a comment. I love reading your guys' comment in my past videos before I stopped making videos. I was starting to get some comments, so hopefully if you subscribe to my channel, if you're kind of still around, and you see my new video, please watch it. Please comment. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Comment below, let's link. Maybe if you're a trader and you trade small cap, and you follow the same people on Twitter, we have the same mentality. Let's link, let's see what we can do together. Let's put our heads together and maybe help each other grow as traders. And that's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to network. I'm looking to meet people that are in the same industry as I am, but are just starting off like I am. So we can kind of bounce ideas and help each other stay motivated, stay on the right path, and keep growing. So thanks for watching, guys. Again, I go by Gladiator Trader. it's just a name I like, and I feel like a gladiator when I'm trading. So there's that. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.